leather gloves were slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts were working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick, was chasing the beer that circled the lips. Play ball, play ball. Roll up the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.
Tonight on Laughter Saves Lives, we welcome Paul Christensen from the North Davis, Utah Fire Department. We then welcome in Jackie Martling and Peter Bales from Stand Up Memories. We wrap things up with laughs from Comic Stevie GB. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the hosts of Laughter Saves Lives Live, Rich Walker and John Larocchia.
Oh, that was
Wow.
beautiful. Now that's a new opening.
Now you have your new insignia.
We lost three minutes. 3 minutes of the show we lost. That was pretty good.
Not bad.
He's getting better, right? He's getting better. Butch, I think next time we'll change it. Well, change it. We didn't say laughs from Stevie GB. We just said Stevie GB.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah. No, not necessarily, because you never know what Stevie's going to bring to the table. So, Rich.
Or any comic at the end of this show.
Really? Yeah. I can't tell
They
you
all
how
look befuddled.
And people, if I look to, we have Peter Bales and Jackie the Jokeman sitting right over here, off camera, off mic, but it's hard for me not to look at them. But
I feel like I'm being judged. I hope my comedy is as good.
We had
up to standard.
It is. No, it's very good. It's very good. We had one comic who closed the show. The comic's job when they close the show is what, Rich? To be funny.
Right.
And we had one comic who came on, very pretty. One comic who came on, and I said, okay, what's going on? What do you got? I'm not going to say his name. What do you got? You know what I'm doing. Be funny, right? And he said, well, that's nothing real.
I don't really. What did you?
Really.
And I love when they come on. They go, I don't know what you want me to do.
What you want me to do? Be funny. Be
funny. And I, of course, forgot in the open to say who we are brought to by. But, John, you can mention.
This show is brought to you by the law firm of Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community. It took me 2 years to say McGarry and not McGarry. I'm so proud of myself. Happy birthday to my sister, Linda Brady, who is 4 years younger than me, but looks about 3 years older. Is that rude to say, right?
Yeah, it's her birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Linda Brady.
What's the old comedy club joke? It's not polite to ask a lady how old she is.
How much pushed you away?
How much away?
That is an old one.
You want to hear funny? I went. There was a club out on the island. Well, it's still there, McGuire's. But the old owner,
who was old.
Well, he wasn't old, but let's just say he enjoyed himself way too much, like before the show at the bar.
Right.
So he goes up. He wanted to host his own shows to save a lot of money.
Right,
and
I remember that.
He went up and he goes.
A lot of money.
There was a woman's
save $25.
Save $25.
Yeah, okay.
Or if he books you for a middle spot, it's $100. So, to fool everybody.
Right.
But, wow, $100. But he goes up and there's a birthday party. And he goes to the woman. He goes, well, it's not polite to ask a lady how old she is. So how old are you? And he was just like, how do you blow that line?
If you guys look to your right, speaking of birthdays, if you look to your right, the guy sitting next to you, he had a birthday 2 days ago.
Oh.
Does that still count? Can you still wish somebody because I had mine
Peter?
2 weeks.
Jackie?
No, Jackie.
Wait, when is Jackie's birthday?
You did your research.
February 14th.
2 days ago.
That's last month.
Oh, man.
See, I do so much. I don't even know what month it is.
I got news for you. Jackie thought it was his birthday there for a second. He's like, man, this guy must have did his research.
What? He looked at his watch to see what month it was.
Okay.
Well, thanks for
thank you
updating us there, Butch.
Man, is Butch starved for stage time.
Really? I was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I flew into Cleveland, went to Kent State, I was telling Peter before, where the students with the Vietnam protests were killed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, I've seen the picture so many times.
Yeah.
To be there was really, I don't want to say cool. I guess that's a bad word, but it was a little eerie. They have a memorial for the students, but they have turned where they were shot into a parking lot. So the memorials are in the middle of parking spots now.
How weird is that?
It was really weird.
They somehow they capitalized on parking. On the tragedy.
No, it was
it
was very cold the day I was there, but
yeah.
But Kent Fire Department does want us to come back and do a show. And right across the street is a theater from Kent State. So I got so into it. I did a lot of research when I went back to my room, Googled, YouTube about Kent State, and I want to see if we can get them involved somehow with the show.
Yeah.
The Goose.
I mean, I'm open. Whatever the date is.
I didn't give a date yet.
I know.
I didn't give a date.
I'm open.
My grandson, you know how much I enjoy the Goose. Vincent Frank Baccialoop, Larocchia. My grandson, the Goose, walking into school this morning, and we're very into the water meters now. The water shutoffs in front of the houses. I'm teaching him you can shut off the water, you can shut off the gas, and he's pointing out every one, and this is a new one. And very nice. And then he looks at me at one point and he goes, Grandbabs. That's what he calls me, Grandbabs. He said, I told my friends, he's in kindergarten, that you were a fireman. And I was very moved, that he's kind of proud of me, and he tells him. And then in the next breath, he says, but I told him, now you're old. I go, you son of a gun. You could have stopped there, you flapper.
God giveth, God taketh away.
Yeah. So I'm old. And then he says, why do you still wear the fireman shirts if you're not doing the fireman?
Every day, every hour.
Every day, every hour. That's true. I said I was jet lagged already from the hour and a half flight. That was before camera, right?
Yeah.
Can you be jet lagged from an hour and a half flight?
Well, you can be.
Because I get up too early. Is that what it was? I was so tired today. Did have a nice meeting with on the screenplay today with Mary Kennedy, and a nice meeting with Mary and Jim on the docuseries we're going to be producing on the Foundation. Jim will be shooting some stuff down at the Fire Museum May 5th. Get your tickets, people, May 5th.
In Uniondale, right?
FDNY Fire Museum, Manhattan.
Oh.
It's going to be a great night. What else do I got on the list? Important stuff.
I'm not prepared. He doesn't tell me anything that we're going into.
Here's why, and I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because I want you to use your comedy talents
to
turn this nonsense, boring crap into the funny. You know what I'm saying? And so far, you're striking out.
Well, before the show, we could work out what is not boring nonsense. Like we addressed this earlier.
Well, you can bring something to the table.
I'm surprise Rich and talk about the FDNY Museum.
I never mind. You know what I'm saying? I never mind you bringing something to the table.
Yeah. Okay, I will.
All right, go.
You know what I'm just noticing? How nice I look on camera with a collar. Yes. You have to have a collar. Look, even Jackie, you're going to see later, has a beautiful.
Jackie has a nice shirt on
plaid
tonight.
shirt.
Jackie is. I'm a t-shirt guy. I know it's bad. We did this show last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, for One Soldier, One Dog, One Team, and I was criticized for my outfit.
Really? The booker did?
No, the point of contact, Kate, who's a rip. She's a lot of fun.
But she felt you should be better.
She was busting my balls, but it was a bunch of bikers and firemen. I went with sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt. What am I supposed to wear? A suit? I thought it was
nice college shirt.
I thought it was
slacks or
maybe because I wasn't funny. Maybe because I wasn't funny.
No.
Jackie wants to know if the show started yet.
Right.
And all right, so you know what we'll do?
Actually,
Let's go.
Jackie has no idea. This is way beyond funny.
Do we have? We don't even have Paul in the waiting room.
Need old school.
No, Paul's. I'm calling him right now. Paul's not on yet.
I've never.
All right,
I never thought I'd say this before, but thank God Butch just showed up.
Yeah, that's the kind of night it is. I told you I'm a little off tonight.
Yeah.
I'm a little off. I'm a little tired, and I was hoping you would, bring it to the table. What did you do this week? What is there anything you did that we can turn boring into funny?
Yes, and yes. What have I done this week? I've done a lot. You know, I did my things. I went to Costco.
What time did you get up every
Bagel
morning?
Chalet. I had the bagel.
What is the latest you slept this week?
Well, I haven't been feeling well, so
Oh.
I woke up early.
Is that what you tell your wife? You
Around
tell your wife
11:30.
I'm not feeling well.
Hey, I have late hours. You could ask Peter.
Yeah.
He keeps us out at that stand-up university all night.
How late are you guys there?
He's got a lot of stories about, you know, Jerry Seinfeld and stuff. Wait until
You know
hear the
what?
stories.
How about we do this? How about we go to our commercial?
Yeah,
we
please.
bring these two guys out.
Yes.
We'll start hanging with them, and then if Paul comes out, we'll do a little interview with Paul with these guys here, and then we'll go
He'd
right
probably
back to
love
them.
that, right?
Yeah, that'd be
Let's
great.
do that.
Let's do that, Bobby. Let's go to commercial, and we'll be right back with Peter and Jackie.
"9/11 didn't end on 9/11. 500,000 people were exposed to the World Trade Center toxins and are still at risk today. 68 cancers have been linked, including skin cancers, prostate cancer, breast cancer, blood cancers, and many respiratory illnesses. Fortunately, all victims qualify for free health care, and more than $10 billion is available from the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund.
I was a paralegal just 2 blocks from Ground Zero. I had skin cancer and lymphoma.
I worked at Goldman Sachs. I had kidney cancer and respiratory illnesses.
I was a downtown teacher. I had breast cancer. I qualify.
I qualify.
I qualify.
If you were downtown anytime on or after 9/11, call Barasch and McGarry, the lawyers for the 9/11 community. Call today. No law firm has recovered more money with over $2 billion awarded to 9/11 victims. If you worked, lived, or went to school in the exposure zone on or after 9/11, call Barasch and McGarry today.
My father worked downtown. He died of bladder cancer.
I ran from Gateway Plaza in a cloud of smoke as the towers fell.
My mother and I qualify.
I qualify.
Barasch and McGarry's advocacy for 9/11 victims isn't just professional, it's personal. With offices just steps from Ground Zero, they witnessed the pain of the 9/11 attacks and lobbied Congress to pass and permanently extend the Victim Compensation Fund.
I was a downtown court officer. I had prostate cancer in 2007. I qualify.
We all qualify.
The balls.
No. And we're back with Cradle the Balls. We're back with Jackie and Peter.
Look at this panel.
Look at this. Now listen, this is big deal for us.
Yes.
Okay? This is the first time in 2 years that we've had more than 2 people on this set.
Yeah.
I was here alone. We were doing from home. So this is
Well,
a
we
big
had
deal
one with me,
to
you,
have
and Peter.
Jackie and Peter here. But this is a big deal for us here, guys.
We are happy to be here. This is the Mount Rushmore of Firehouse comedy.
There you go. Look at that.
Wow.
We do look like Mount
Wow.
Rushmore.
Well, let me tell you something. First of all, Jackie, I don't think we ever worked together. I could be wrong.
They tried to make me work with you once, but I slithered out of it.
I got to be honest with you.
Remember the gig last
I
minute?
was just going to say.
canceled?
I was just going to say the same thing to you, Jackie.
But I beat you to it.
What?
You know
Yes,
the,
you did. And that's why you are who you are, and that's why I am where I am, sitting here next to Rich on a boring show that we start.
So the whorehouse catches fire,
Yes.
and there's 2 old guys standing on the sidewalk, and the firemen come running out of the whorehouse carrying a bed. And then one old guy says to the other old guy, "Thank God they saved the workbench."
No, that's what. Do you really? You seem to enjoy your own jokes, right? He
Right, he does.
Yeah.
And
Did you pick up on that?
Yes. And do you write
Yeah, good
all
question.
of your own
I
jokes?
write every one of
All
my
right, tell me
jokes.
if you ever heard this one.
I never wrote a joke in my life.
Really?
Tell me if you ever heard this one. I heard it the other day.
You
and
wanna
I thought it was
bet?
Funny.
That's funny.
I got bet 50.
Neither
Bet
has
him.
Peter.
You want to bet
Bet
half,
him.
half 100?
Bet what?
Half 100? They know it.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Well, then why would you bet?
Did I say bet? I didn't mean bet. Okay. You probably have heard this one, but I enjoyed it.
Go ahead.
Simple
But
joke.
I'll pretend I didn't, because
Thank
then
you.
the next time you'll bet. That's how
right.
you get them.
Do I look that stupid?
Yes, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
I'm kidding.
This
I love and
911.
respect the firemen, so anything I say to you, I'm only serious.
That's
Good.
Go ahead.
So 911 dispatcher gets a call. Hey, I just hit somebody with my car. They're unconscious. They're laying in the street. I'm very upset. I'm on Saskatchewan Street. He's laying there. So the operator says, listen, spell Saskatchewan. So he says, let me call you back. I'm going to drag him over to Pine Street. You've heard it, right?
Of course. Great
course.
joke. Great
But
joke.
It's a very really good joke. I love
But
it.
I've never
Great
heard
joke.
it.
I never heard it.
One of the first, one of the fellow hazmat guys from the FDNY told me at hazmat breakfast last month. So it's great to have you guys here.
So the fire whistle goes off, and the guy in the bar jumps up and puts on his coat. The bartender says, I didn't know you were a fireman. He says, I'm not, but my girlfriend's husband is.
Very good. Very good.
I studied for this. I got 400 fire jokes, and then I find out we're doing 3 minutes. As a matter of fact, that's the only 2 fireman jokes I got, so I'm done.
Those are great.
I doubt you're done, but that's okay.
As part of Jackie's act, he
Yes.
does a thing where he brings audience members
Right.
up on stage to
Right.
stump the joke man.
Right.
And it's
I've seen that.
impossible to stump him.
It's
Well,
impossible.
the prettier they are, the more they stump him.
Now, that's an attempt at humor, and you know.
Well,
we shouldn't be attempting.
I'm
True,
actually
true.
sitting here with 3 legends. I
That's-
mean,
you're
who
sitting
am
here.
Hold
I?
on, who's under the table? Hold on. So,
Yeah.
Peter, I know Peter for years and years, and like I said, Jackie, obviously I know who you are. Never worked with you, so it's nice to have you, but it's just weird that I've never worked with this man.
Let's
all the years, right?
do some kind of fireman. I've done a lot of firehouses, and the Bayville Fire Department. We did a big fundraiser to raise money for me, and
We can do a show to raise money for the foundation.
do you know I got a call, and I'm not making this up, yesterday, from my friend Tom Ronayne. Do you want to go to Poland and bring some cheer?
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, how about no? Like I'll do anything. I went to Kuwait, but that was one, the tours where,
Right.
the war, that was a war was here, and
Right.
we're over here.
there. Right.
I said, isn't that dangerous, Tom? He said, well, it's less dangerous the further you get from there. What? Less, I don't want to know. There's a degree of,
I was teaching, and they said you want to go over to Afghanistan to teach this class to their fire department, whatever. And I asked the person calling me, "Is it dangerous?" And she says, "Hold on, let me call you back."
Yeah, so you change your number. It's so funny. They say that nobody that ever went over to do shows for the troops has ever gotten killed or
Right.
even hurt. So I went over there with Bo Bice, who just missed on America's Got Talent, or one of those to carry
American
Underwood.
Idol.
Makes 2 of us.
But he was great, and we had a great show. But a couple of shows me and him just did, where we, flew in flak jackets and the helicopter down the river, and then we got in a van, and there were bullet holes in the van. I was like, "You tell me nobody ever got hurt?"
Well, the bullets
No,
in the
would you
van.
buy it like that?
Nobody got hurt. The bullets hit the van,
Yeah.
right?
Any comedian will tell you a firehouse show is the absolute best. How can you
I
go
love
wrong?
them.
Yes.
They love them. Any comic and that's why I like to put a newer comic on those shows and give them a chance, because they're doing all these open mics. They can't really get a taste for their material, and they go in front of these great crowds, and they're like, "Wow, this is what it's all
One
about."
time in Jersey, I was at a firehouse and I was bombing, so I just yelled fire.
They all ran out.
Well, my first gig, I don't want to call it a gig, my first open mic, my first time on stage, I was taking a class in the city. Lee Frank, this guy, I don't know why I remember his name. He was the teacher, and the final was at Dangerfields. So we're not in the comedy club, with the classes like you guys do. We're in some office building. So I go, I got to get on stage before I get to Dangerfields. So I go out to Chuckles, and I have my notes on stage, and I topped out. I get on stage and I go, it's one of my first times doing comedy. please, So I start reading my jokes, and I am bombing a miserable death, right? The firehouse is next door. The alarm goes off, and they knew I was a fireman. The alarm goes off, and I go, ladies and gentlemen, can't finish. I gotta go. I gotta laugh. I go, continue doing this.
That's God. I just got a warm glow. Chuckles was that was the name.
It was great.
That was when God created heaven and earth. When that thing started.
Chuckles in Mineola, one of the early
Wasn't
ones.
that the only club on Long Island that was actually originally designed and built to be a comedy club? Where other ones
I
were
think it
restaurants.
has.
Well, they turned it into a restaurant pretty quick.
Oh, it was?
It recently burned down.
Did it really?
Now it's
Yes.
is it
No, it's just
Piccolo-
Chuckles is on
Right on Jericho.
It was on Jericho Turnpike,
burned
and the
down.
rest it was a restaurant.
Italian restaurant,
Yes, right. It just
Portuguese
burned down.
Was it Portuguese?
It was Portuguese.
Portuguese. What was across the street? I thought it was Portuguese.
And then I think it turned Italian because the
now
same.
it's Piccola Busolo.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
something
same
whatever.
owners.
When was that fire?
Recently, like
when I first
I
started.
think I saw that fire, but I didn't realize it was there.
yeah, they called the fire department. Nobody showed up.
Nobody.
thought it was
The owner of the comedy club started the fire, but he didn't do a good job. It took all those years. He just lit a damp mattress. In
It took all those years to burn. So let's talk about the show first, because we could talk about other things, but
I want to
the
make an
podcast.
announcement.
Yes.
Because I have something new, and I didn't even tell Bales. And I love it when I do something that brings me into this universe that we now inhabit, because I was the first guy to have a comedy album in 1979. I was so ahead of the curve. And now I am so far away that, I got a computer that you got to wait for the mouse to get the wheel going. But as of a week ago, I found out that I had all these little videos of jokes that I did for a radio station that are perfect for TikTok.
Yeah.
And so a week ago, I started putting them on TikTok. And in 1 week, I have over 5,000 followers.
Wow,
So it's TikTok.com/ but for some reason, the name's on TikTok, it's @Jackie Martling. So it's TikTok.com/ @Jackie Martling, which is so cool. And like some of the jokes have 52,000 views, and it's only been a week. And
who's making the TikToks?
And they're all clean because they were all meant for the radio.
You're doing it, or somebody else doing it for you?
No, you load them up. You sit here and load it right on the phone. Right?
Yeah, because I want to do more TikToks.
And it's so fun because it's like working for tips. You load it in, and you watch it to see if anybody's.
That is
okay.
great,
Commercial
Peter,
over.
But I can't imagine Peter being happy about this, because it's going to probably scrap that whole other.
Oh, that whole other project. No, this is a way to promote.
I think it's a leap board to that. It could actually bring in.
Did you say leap?
Everything a leapfrog,
Springboard.
leapfrog.
What did you say?
You know what's isn't it scary when you understand what he's saying?
I kind of get what he
But I
says.
know what
It's
you meant.
years of working with me that he knows.
Rich and I have been working together for almost 25 years at Stand Up University, where we teach new comedians.
And you're sharing a paycheck.
You just got that, and you got that on the show. Stand Up University.
Stand Up University.
What's the website?
StandUpUniversity.com. Next
That's
class
easy.
is May 8th.
That's right, May 8th. But we're here.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were plugging Stand Up Memories. You're plugging your stupid.
No, I'm no. I'm
He's
plugging.
snuck it in. He's snuck
You
it
got your TikTok in.
That's right.
Stand Up Memories.
Stand Up
Stand
Memories.
Up TikTok. Fight.
LaughterSavesLives.org. Might as well throw that in too.
Jackie and I have a new podcast, very new,
funny.
This sounds cool.
and it's called Stand Up Memories. And it's on Spotify and all the platforms. It's video and audio. And you can, of course, see it on everything. And it literally, the title's perfect because it is. It's Stand Up Memories. And we have so many
Just
stories.
my friend Mike Reese, that's been writing for The Simpsons for over 30 years, said he loves our podcast. It's like having lunch with me, but he doesn't have to pay, which I think is the greatest.
It comes out
compliment.
on Wednesdays, a little
Wednesday
break on
night.
Hump Day, little break. And we've been having a blast. We absolutely.
And it's just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
And well, what happened was they wanted me to do a podcast or do something. So I called Peter and said, listen, I want to interview you for this podcast. I don't even know what I'm going to do. And by the time we're halfway done with it, I said, you know what? We should just do this, the two of us.
Right.
And so far we've done like 6 or 7, 20 shows worth, like with 20 or 30 minutes each. We still haven't had a guest. We're either so sick of each other or we're not sick of each other
So
yet.
you just
But I
tell
definitely
them
want to
stories.
do
Yeah,
this.
the entire time.
I was telling Peter, I think it's so good as it is, and it's so different of a podcast where you two just play off each other and you don't need the guests yet. I don't think
To me, and you know that they'll shoot us. To me, that then it becomes another podcast. Two guys
Like
just batting
us.
heads, you know. But no, they're all the same for the same reason. Just like all songs are two verses and a middle, you know. I mean, that's the way it was set
It
up.
was very cool. I was the first episode. I was the guest, and during the episode, Jackie invited me to be the co-host.
it was born.
It was born.
Right.
And we have 20 of them in the can, and number 7 just came out today.
I was kidding.
I took
Yeah,
it
you didn't
seriously.
think he was going to come
You got
back.
all excited. What were you
How
gonna
do you tell them?
I didn't know he was joking, so I showed up for the next taping.
There he
Well,
was.
there I am.
Jackie,
There
let me
he
be honest with you, okay? We wanted you
There's
to be
no room for that.
We wanted you to be on the show tonight. So I called Peter and I said, "Can you get Jackie?" And Peter said, "I'll come along." Now what am I going to say?
Well,
You know,
it was really embarrassing.
it was
You told me to tell
uncomfortable.
me.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, Jackie is revitalizing my career, and I appreciate, being able to tag along. But Stand Up Memories and standupmemories.com. Check us out. Guess
And it really is fun, and we
And
really
subscribe.
do make each other
Right.
laugh, and we
Subscribe.
really do surprise each other here and there.
Biggest disappointment is we tried to book Burt Ward, but he was busy,
Oh,
and we couldn't get him.
we were able to
and
do
the
it.
Which
joke-
Did you see the
they
show?
had
Did
Burt
you watch
Ward
the
last
show?
You had
this
Burt
week?
They
Ward
had
here.
Burt Ward last
Did you
week.
watch the show this week?
I
Richie had his questions here. And
I know.
Bert, and we said,
Wait,
"Hello,
listen.
Bert." And then 40 minutes later, Bert was still talking about his cat food.
We
Is
couldn't
it-
even. He had his rap down. Where many
I felt
years
so bad
was
for
a
him.
sidekick of Batman. It was a big honor in my life, but he kept going like he did 1,000 podcasts. And we shouldn't say because he's watching.
No, we enjoyed having him. I'm not saying
yeah.
we didn't enjoy having
But
him.
then I kept trying, and he's like, "But Bert, Rich has he has a question. He's a long
Easy. I'm only up to episode 7.
Don't
We
give it away.
had Adam West on
Oh,
the Stern Show, and he disappeared for like 20 years after Batman.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was drunk for 20 years.
yeah.
And
wow.
I
then
didn't know
we
that.
sit there on the show, and he was so much fun. And I have all these notes that I saved from the Stern Show. If I wrote an insult about Burt Ward or about Roger Daltrey or about Adam West, I would give one of the things that I had Howard say about the guy to Steve Grillo, the intern, say, "Have him sign this." And Howard was talking to Adam West and saying, everybody was wondering where you were for those 20 years. And I wrote a note, and I have the note signed by Adam West. It says he was too busy drinking Bat Daniels. Which is just
That's great.
classic. And
Does
meanwhile,
he have a
he
sense of
really was-
humor
Huh?
in person? Because he's so
He
serious.
was just dry and wonderful and delightful and sober.
I love it.
He was a hot crap for, was it 4 years?
I think it was
4 or
about
5
4 years. 4 years.
It was like the number one show at that time.
It was so stupid and so bad and so fun. You couldn't
Right,
not
it was
watch.
just- What's going on, Butch?
Hey guys, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about a little bit more about.
Show here. You notice we're
Well,
doing a show here.
We're gonna come back and talk about stand-up memories.
You know,
All right.
the light,
good.
your lighting is too bright. It's too easy to see you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who's the lighting director for this show? Helen Keller?
Now this guy right here.
Light a
Rocky
match.
is. Rocky's the lighting director.
Light a match, for Christ's sake. Do something.
All right, we'll be back.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Rossi.
And I'm Arthur Lee, the creator of LifeVac.
We're here today to announce that to date, LifeVac has saved hundreds of lives of people who almost died due to choking.
People may not realize that on average, 14 people a day die from choking-related incidents. Every 5 days, one of those lives is a child. That's why I created LifeVac.
And as a new mom and from housewife to housewife, I felt compelled to share with you the discovery of this life-saving device.
LifeVac is a simple-to-use airway clearance device. Just place, push, and pull to save a life.
And it costs less than it would take to fill up your car with a tank of gas. Imagine being able to save a life for less than $70.
To learn more, please visit lifevac.net.
That's LIFEVAC.net.
Please don't allow one of your loved ones to become the victim of a choking accident.
And we're back.
We're back.
We are back.
Jackie the Jokeman, Peter Bales.
I'm sorry, I was just loading
That's
a
all right.
joke onto TikTok.com/@Jackie Martling, but I didn't have enough time.
What? So we're back. So you guys tell stories of when did Long Island comedy get hot? When did it really start? Stand-up comedy. in
You're
Long
talking about my first set, probably.
Island? I'm talking about maybe 2 years after your first set.
Yes.
What was the first club?
It
Was
actually
White House?
it kicked into gear. You can't call the White House a comedy club. It was a
Okay.
variety showcase.
All right.
And the reason we started a comedy show was because the guy, Richard M. Dixon, wouldn't pay anybody. So we started doing a show at a place called Cinnamon in Huntington that wasn't, I played guitar, but it wasn't guitar players and folk singers and jugglers. It was comedy. And that's when Peter and I got reunited because he would come out from the city. And it was before that, for a couple of months, I was doing shows here and there on Long Island. You know, I had a guitar amplifier and my guitar and a microphone. And after I broke up with my band, I was playing the guitar and singing songs and telling jokes, which I had always done.
Uh-huh.
I started bringing the guys, and then slowly but surely I'd say to an owner, let me do this at your place, blah, blah, blah.
What year is this?
It's late 78, and then 79 is when we got going. And the Rainy Night House,
Queens. That
was even a variety showcase.
Yeah, it was.
But that wasn't. You know, it depends. It's funny because Queens is part of Long Island, but people don't consider that
Right.
Long Island.
It's on the
you know.
island. Right.
But then it slowly but surely, and then the show at Cinnamon's was good enough that Richie Minervini, his brother, and another guy started the East Side Comedy
So
Club,
that was the
which was
first-
kind of the launch of the whole
So
thing.
that was the first real club was East Side.
East Side,
Yeah.
the full-time club.
Full-time
And the
club.
On
first
Jericho
night,
Turnpike.
on
Yes.
right. The first show they had at East Side, Richie booked me to host. And
Really?
I was hosted the first show.
So Bales,
I was the first act on stage at the East Side
Oh,
Comedy.
wow, I never knew
and
that.
I was conscious of what was going on, and
Uh-huh.
I walked up to the top step,
Right.
and then I deliberately put my foot down like that.
and
And
to
Chris,
this
I
day,
knew.
the place where he put his foot down is there, but
Is it
there's
Memorial?
parking garages all around, just like Kent State. It's
Just
all
like it.
But in the heyday of Long Island comedy, it was three clubs. It was Governors in Levittown, Chuckles in Mineola, and the East Side Comedy
Right.
Club in Huntington. And people,
Well, after the East Side started, then Gary from the brokerage actually had me start booking comedians at the brokerage, and that had been a music club.
Okay.
But then Governors opened, and I was booking Governors, and then Gary realized I was putting the better acts at Governors because
It was bigger.
the brokerage was like a very, it's beautiful now, but it was an odd little
bar.
Yeah.
corner bar, you know, where we had so much fun playing music there and breaking shops there. And
It
stuff.
wasn't even that big. It was.
No, it was a little.
Now I went a few times to Jimmy's Comedy
Alley.
When
Jimmy's
did that
Comedy
come
Alley.
about? That was in the basement. We used to
that
be
was
bowling alley.
Bell Boulevard.
Bell Boulevard.
that came about a little later on.
Little later.
on, but that was a great.
it was
a
later
nice
on. I worked there as a pin boy, they called it.
No, are you serious?
Before they had the
No,
mach-
you're telling me
before-
stories.
Before they had the machines changing the pins.
My dad did that. I know that.
You're
Did
kidding.
he
You
really?
did that?
My
No,
dad. No, that they didn't have.
But it really had been a bowling alley
It was a
behind
bowling alley.
behind the stage.
Yes.
The alleys were still. I mean, it was an immense place.
It was.
And Jimmy and his daughter Linda, they were just
Who was Linda? What's that last name?
Linda
Rowe.
No, not Linda Rowe. Linda.
Linda.
The Ambrosi.
Yeah, I remember Linda well.
Oh, I love.
Did you
her
ever
so much.
do the bar that I used to book?
I remember her well. What was her name?
Linda.
Real quick, I want to ask.
Wow,
you.
that's funny. How can we not know that? I was so.
I remember her well.
When you said something, he said something. You came out from the city. Where did you start?
I started at the comic strip in New York City.
Where did you live at the time, though?
When I lived, I actually used to drive into the city in
Oh,
a
so
broken
you
down
started-
Volkswagen.
Okay.
Living home with my parents when I started.
Wow.
And then I moved into Manhattan when you could still get an apartment there for $400 a month, believe
Amazing.
it or not, way back in the day.
Amazing.
I have a story. There's a legendary Long Island comedian named Jim Myers.
Okay.
All right. And he did a character. He went on stage as Klaus Myers, a German comedian.
Germany's #1 comedian.
Klaus
Meyer.
Klaus Meyer.
I worked with him.
Klaus Meyer. Okay.
Yes.
And it was a character, and he stayed in character for the whole act. He was headlining at Jimmy's Comedy Alley, and he had a great accent, and he looked German, and it was so funny. And the feature act for the night was Jeff Zabrowski, another legendary Long Island comic.
Funny.
He has.
Well, we are throwing that word around.
He has. Well,
Long-time comic?
He has a few drinks, Jackie. Okay.
Okay.
And just to mess with Jim Meyer, who is in character as Klaus.
Jim Myers.
It's with an S.
Jim Myers and Klaus Meyer. Jim had to do 45 minutes. And after 15 minutes, Jeff Zabrowski jumped up on stage in front of the whole place, which was 300 plus people. And he says, "Hey, Jim, are you going to do the German guy tonight?" And Myers' face just dropped because he was 15 minutes into a 45-minute set, and he doesn't break.
Right.
He doesn't break character.
Right.
Well, long story short, after the show, we had to separate Myers from
I bet he was
Zabrowski.
angry.
Oh, legendary story.
No, there's so
As
many.
the years went on,
Myers, when Myers first wanted to do that, he was so funny. He didn't talk to me for so long because we had a roast one time, and he had done his act, and then he changed to doing his act as not a gay guy, but a fey guy, and that didn't work. And then he's doing Klaus Myers. Then we did a roast at some point, and I said, "And here's Jim Myers, who's currently not working as 3 different acts." And like 6 months later, I was sitting the East Side, and he walked in and he said, "You know what, Martling Howard, I'm going to start speaking to you again." I was like, I didn't know
you weren't speaking to me.
But when he first started doing the German, I was booking governors. And he said, "Listen, Jackie, I need to work. Please put me on at governors. I only got like 10 minutes, but I'll do Q&A and I'll cover the time." I'm like, all right. In those days, everybody wasn't working all the time. So there was a wall at governors between the stage, then all the seats, and then there was a wall and like a bar area.
Right.
And so the comics would kind of lean on the wall and watch the action. I don't know whether I was there with Hawthorne, Woods, Bales, whoever. A bunch of us stand there. And Myers goes up and he does his 10 minutes. "I'm from Hamburg and I was originally from Frankfurt. So I'm like part Hamburger, part Frankfurter." And everybody's like, "Oh boy, here we go." And then he gets about done with 10 minutes and he says, "And now maybe you ask Klaus question, like to know about Germany." Klaus answer question, and some guy in the audience was obviously not buying what's going on. And he raises his hand and he goes, "How do you say the number 9 in German?" And I'm telling you, Myers, the red went like this right up his head.
Well, then
and his ears pinned back, and he said, I won't curse, but he said, "All right, I'm not friggin' German, all right?" And he stormed off.
Well,
we laughed and fuck for 10 minutes. We laughed
when I
because he
came
made
into
a
comedy,
specific question,
let me say one thing. When I came into comedy, he was at the point where he would. This is 27 years ago. He would actually start his act as German, and then after 20 minutes, it would gradually turn into English, and the audience would be like, "What the heck? What is going?" Like they used to. It was funny watching the audience, but then there was other times he came out as Jim Myers with the beer at the. They told me I was either wash dishes or do this. Remember that routine?
He would go to clubs like in Myrtle Beach. He'd go and do his, but at the end of the show, he would break character and tell him he wasn't German. But then he'd have to go back the next night. I'm like, what is he, a moron?
Right, somebody's gonna,
But I remember I was, that's a great story about. All right, I'm not German. That's a great. So I'm working in Myrtle Beach, and you go on the radio down there, and they say, "Oh, a friend of yours is working here next week, Klaus Meyer." And like you have to bite you.
Right.
Perfect radio story,
Yeah.
but that blows his whole.
I missed that. So he didn't call himself Jim Myers, he called himself Klaus when he was doing.
It
Yes.
depends on when he started to do it. The premise was he was coming on as not Jim Myers doing the German. This is Klaus Meyer.
Right.
He's from Germany,
Right.
and that's what he was selling. I don't know what it morphed into or out of because it didn't
You could
work.
do a whole show on Jim Myers.
Yeah, most of all,
you
he's
can.
known. He's known.
No,
he's known as a practical joker.
Yes.
Melvin George.
Yeah.
Great comedian.
Gentleman. I worked
Great
with
gentleman. Love Melvin. His wife was overdue to have a baby. And this is the day before cell phones. And he's still working. He wants the money. He's at Chuckles. He's on stage. He's nervous about his wife going into labor. But he goes on stage. He starts his set. And he's 10 minutes in. And Myers gets on the backstage mic. And he goes, "Excuse me, Melvin, your wife just called." And Melvin is absolutely shocked. His mouth is open. And Myers goes, "It's very, very important, Melvin. It's very important." And he's, "Yeah." She says, "Bring home milk and bread."
So perfect.
Oh, and if you could see an African-American comedian turn white, that is exactly what happened. How great a joke is that?
Do you have a story about the Amish comic? Did you ever work with him?
Yeah, he's an idiot. The greatest thing
he's
was
our
when we
supporter
first
of our
started,
show.
especially at the
He's a
Rainy Night
sponsor.
House. We used to send up notes, Steve, because everybody did so
Oh,
bad.
yeah, a lot
And
of
the audience-
notes.
And we'd send up notes to try and get the people on stage, which was, it was always, I obviously I should have 5 examples. I have no examples, but there's always something inside that.
Tell them to stretch if they're bombing.
And not even that sophisticated, but it's just great.
I did a show with Vic DiPotetto, and I used to like to sit and watch Vic. But we had 2 shows in a row working for the Pickle Man. And I go leave the one show. It's in the auditorium at a gym, going to work in the comedy club. And I get there, and I'm 20-minute comic. So the owner comes over and says, "We got to start the show." Start the show. I go, "Vic is still on stage. He's a half hour away." I go, "I got 20 minutes of material." So I call the pick. I go, "This guy wants to start the show." He goes, "You got to start. What am I going to do?" So I said, "I'm not going to touch my material. I'm not going to touch my material for the first 10 minutes. Thank God the audience was great. I ended up 15. I ended up doing an hour and 5 minutes. Never did more than 20 minutes. Don't ask me how I did it. The audience was great. Vic comes walking in, goes up on stage, and he goes, "Oh, I guess I only have to do 20 minutes." I go, "Where were you?" He goes, "I was selling my CDs after the show." He knew that we had the other show, right?
Well, some things are important and some things aren't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that Linda's last name just
It's gonna
ran
kill you,
in
but-
front of
All
my
right, here's what we're
eye.
gonna do, guys. Let's
Linda-
you used to pass notes back and forth, whatever.
No.
Paul Stevie
No, not
GB's
Linda.
gonna come on now and get his
We
balls
forgot.
busted.
It
I
was
think.
great.
What?
Go ahead.
What we got? We forgot what? Tell me. What did we forget?
Our guest.
Our guest never showed.
Oh, he didn't.
No, our
Okay.
guest never showed. I can see it on the screen.
I'll put on a mustache.
That's
I'll
okay.
come
We
in
had
there.
this worked out perfect because
You know what?
Interview
me. I'll be Klaus Meyer. I come from Germany. They say Germans are too regimented, and that is not true. Joke number 1.
I remember
Let's bring
that.
Stevie
I
on. We
remember
won't break for another break. Let's bring Stevie right on. Steve, look at you.
How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you perfectly.
Oh, wait. Now, before I start, I've been
Yes.
obsessed with the news, watching this whole Ukraine war thing, obsessed with it.
Yes.
And I got good news. President Biden just came on, and he's sending over 327 slingshots, 417 super soakers, 627 cap guns, and 923 pea shooters. So we're going to win this thing.
I hope we don't lose the connection.
So,
look, I just wrote that. I just wrote that 1 minute ago. So give me a break.
Wow.
So
well,
what's
thank
going
you for
on?
being on tonight.
I love it. Look at that.
The other thing is, I want to tell you that this gas crisis is not bothering me at all because I haven't left the house since it went up. So I haven't left the house. But when I did go out, I had to go to Patchogue, 7 miles away. I figured it out. The best way to save gas. I gun my car out of the driveway at 95 miles an hour, and I just coast all the way there. Never touch the gas.
How to do it.
It works.
Put it in neutral.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. And the other thing is, I always put $20 in my tank. That's it, $20 a week. I never go more, never go less. $20 a week. And you ever pump the gas and the thing stops, and you got to like jiggle it around, and well, it stopped, and it was at $20. So
perfect.
This is great. You guys are a good audience.
So expensive. I don't even top it off anymore. I
Yeah,
actually
you can't.
stop where it stops.
Because you
Just
still
stop it at $12.
I decided, Stevie, maybe you want to do this. I decided I am not going to spend any extra money per week.
Right.
So I'm spending extra money for gas, so I'm skipping meals.
Skipping food.
Right. So I haven't eaten in 4 days since the last time I filled up.
It doesn't show. It doesn't show, John. You still got a little neck fat, so it's working
Oh,
for you.
me? I get neck fat?
A little bit.
Great.
So how's it going, guys? It's going
else?
well.
It's going
What else
good.
is
It's
new?
going good.
What have you been up to?
We got these two guys here.
Not much. I've been watching your show. I mean, you dropped more names than I've ever heard in my life. So this is great.
What do you talk about?
Oh, Klaus,
Jim,
Linda. We dropped
Klaus
Linda's
and
I
name.
really need
George.
somebody to put a bullet in my head if mentioning Jim Myers is name dropping.
I tell you.
Yeah. Vic DiBattista.
Vic
That's
DiBattista.
all right.
Oh no, he's a huge guy. He's a huge.
Yeah. These are all good names. It's all good.
Stevie GB.
Yes.
Well, Long Island gives birth to a lot of famous comedians.
It has.
Long Island can compete with cities in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
Philadelphia, Boston, even Manhattan, the separate scene
Right,
here on Long
right.
Island.
Yeah. Well, you got Seinfeld, Rosie O'Donnell. Who else?
Eddie Murphy,
Billy
Eddie Murphy.
Crystal.
Brett Butler.
Wasn't Billy Crystal? Oh, he's from Long Beach, right?
Ray Romano was
Yeah.
Queens, right?
Billy
Ray
Crystal.
Romano.
How about Kevin James? You missed
Kevin James, of course.
Rich Walker. Rich Walker.
Rich Walker
Was
actually-
voted Long Island's best comic. How many times?
Long Island's favorite.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
It's actually like Peter says 3, but that's bragging. So I bring
At least you beat Frank Prince. Did you beat Frank Prince at least? Because he died 10 years ago and he was
Frank
voted.
Prince had me on his show, and it was what's funny is he was actually nervous that I was there, and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, on my show is a very funny comedy median." It's a comedy median.
Tell me
Comedy
they're
median?
not talking about Freddie Prince and getting
No,
the
no,
name.
no, not Freddie Prince. That's another name.
No, Frank Prince.
I knew his sister Fingerprints.
Oh, there you go. And you
So-
thought my jokes were bad.
So what do you got for us, Stevie? Got some new stuff? What were you working on?
The stuff he just did the last 4
that-
minutes was his new.
That was it. That was all that was
Said
new.
Before I get started.
Didn't Biden send a bunch of stuff to Ukraine?
Yeah, he did. He sent some pea shooters. I did that already. No, he sent a bunch of stuff. He did.
Rich told me to lead you into that.
What's that?
Rich told me to lead you into that bit.
But he
Oh,
did.
he did? He didn't even know I was going to do it.
What do you mean he did it?
He did.
If you don't do something more
confused.
jokes
Did
soon, Butch is gonna pop back on.
So please.
Who's Butch is the guy that's all lit up?
Yeah.
Well, what would you say if you were in stand-up university teaching right now, Rich? What would you say to the new comedian on stage? When
GB?
I'm asking Rich what he would say if we were in stand-up university teaching our famous, well-known comedy class.
Right. And what would you like me?
Well, how would you encourage the comedian? What would you say? What would you?
Are you talking about encouraging me or him or who? Or Butch?
I'm not encouraged by any of this.
Look at poor Stevie. Stevie.
Give us
Peter.
Wait, he's frozen. He's
Peter.
frozen.
No, he's not.
You're
I
not
think he's
supposed to be
frozen.
the
Move
Peter's,
your head, Stevie.
Peter's not supposed to be the one that brings the room to a complete
Look, he's
halt
frozen.
like that.
Yeah, he's locked out.
And we didn't know the
Butch,
difference.
we lost Stevie.
We didn't know the difference.
I'm not sure if we did lose him. I guess we did. We did just lose him. He just dropped out.
You think we insulted him too much?
I don't think so.
How he was frozen for how many minutes before we?
12.
That's like the story of the French guy having sex with a dead woman, and somebody says she's dead. He says, "Oh, I thought she was American."
That's great. There you go.
We got John Santo here. He's popped in tonight. Hey, John.
John Santo.
Oh, I forgot to wear my spring training hat. Baseball.
Baseball
How do
is
you guys
back.
feel about baseball?
Baseball is back.
Jackie, you got any baseball jokes?
You know, it's so funny because I knew every Yankee and went to every World Series game, the whole 50s. And then I didn't know anybody. And then a few years ago, a friend of mine took me to a Yankee game. And we had, box seats. We were sitting there. And I said, when did Bob Turley become Asian? Because the last time I was sitting in that seat, it was like 1958. And number 19 was Bullet Bob Turley. And number 19 was the Asian that was pitching for the Yankees. It was so funny. The great story is that Don Larson was pitching his perfect game. He was about 7 innings in. And he called Yogi Berra out to the mound. And Yogi says, "What's the problem, Don?" He said, "Yogi, you got to do me a favor. You got to button up your fly because I'm getting mixed signals."
Wow.
I thought you were dropping names when you started. Well, I knew all the Yankees. I thought he's saying like he knew all of them.
Do you know? He's going back for Bob Turley. Bob Turley was big.
Back.
Oh, that's great.
Well, I can still name, Andy Carey, Tony Kubek, Bobby Richardson, Moose Skowron, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Hector Lopez was like the new kid on the block. Elston Howard was the new kid on the block.
Yeah,
it was Yogi.
I got a cute story for you. I was working overtime at the Yankee playoff game for the FDNY, hazmat on the back, walking around with meters. Got a sausage and pepper before the game, threw it in the backpack, it leaked all over the meters. I'm in the bathroom, FDNY hazmat, cleaning off radiation meters in the sink. But I wandered into the bathroom, and then it was in the outfield. So I walk out of the bathroom, go through this door. I'm kind of lost, and I see this idiot wearing a full Yankee uniform. Pedro Martinez. Red Sox uniform at the time. Pedro Martinez on the back, right? So I'm like, look at this freaking idiot. He comes to a game, right? I realized I was in the bullpen. It was Pedro Martinez. I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, you idiot.
Do you know the story about the guy selling the talking dog? And talking dog, $5,000. And he comes in and says, I think I'd like to buy your talking dog, but I'm not buying it unless you give me a demonstration. The guy said, no problem. Fido, what's it feel like when you sit on toilet paper? And Fido goes, rough. And the guy said, do you think I'm stupid? You think I'm stupid? The guy says, no, that's not the whole demonstration. Fido, what's on top of a house? And the dog goes, roof. He says, Barfungal, you think I'm an ass? I am. He says, wait. The demonstration is not concluded. Fido, who is the greatest Yankee ball player of all time? And the dog says, Ruth. The guy says, eat me. I am out of here. And he goes out the door, slams the door, and the dog turns to the guy and says, who was it? Friggin' DiMaggio?
What is your podcast again?
Stand Up Memories, and we have a great Facebook page. And check us out at www.standupmemories.
And guys, subscribe.
Thank
They're
you,
like the stories that they're telling. These are going to be episodes and episodes.
Oh, I didn't get to tell my Paradise story about your Paradise Studios. You're gonna
what
have
about it?
We got a minute. What do we got?
We got 27 seconds.
We got a minute.
There was a rub and tug place across
Right.
from Governor's in Stamford that was only there for a month.
Right.
And there was a cute little Korean girl. And the only word of English she knew was paradise. So when she finished with you, she'd say, paradise. That's all.
That's it. All right.
Wow.
All right. We will be.
Because, the comic stories, what are we doing after the show? Paradise?
Paradise.
Let's
thank
safer
you.
than I thought.
Jackie, thank you so
It was
much.
a pleasure.
Peter, as always. one of my favorite people on TV.
TikTok.com/@Jackie Martling. I need people to follow me so I can make money to get rid of Bales from the podcast.
That's it. Thank you so much, guys. We're going over to the diner. Good night, everybody.
Leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. He's chasing the beer, the circle the lips, play ball. Play ball. faces and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play